Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, it is that time of the week again for our very own Old Humble Distilling Company Happy Hour 2.0. 2.0. Yeah, we'll go that way. I'm going to adjust that there. We can see our beautiful background there with a lovely couch on which I am rested. Lisa is late because she's stuck in some kind of lawyer thing. I don't know. And unfortunately, Tanya will not be joining us tonight for space stuff. So I've called an audible, and we are going to do an Ask Me Anything episode. Boop, ask me anything. What is anything, you might ask? Well, I can tell you anything is literally anything. Ask me anything. Ask me anything about the distillation process, the production process, the boxing process, the logistics of the whole damn thing. What I love, what I hate, etc., etc. I am the Old Humble Guy, your friendly neighborhood sin merchant. We are situated, the Old Humble Distilling Company is situated deep in the heart of Humble, Texas, on the southeast side of the state, north part of the Gulf Coast, if you were wondering. We're open on Saturdays for people to come and visit. And I do periodic live streams from the distillery. If you haven't seen them yet, you should probably tune into one. And when do we do them, you may ask? Well, I don't know if you really would, but when do we do them? I can tell you when we do them, periodically. The best way to know is hit that little notification bell. So when I go live, you get a little message that says, hey, the Old Humble Distilling Company is going live. Well, why don't you go join his dumbass? I know today's episode was supposed to be space stuff, but we're not going to be doing space stuff today because my science advisor is ill. Cheers. Actually sounds like I may be coming down with something too. But I didn't want to go a whole week without a show. I know I live streamed last night, a little late night and chill live stream last night. Thanks to y'all who tuned in. Appreciate it. It was fun. My microphone is wiggly for some reason. Let's see here. I'm going to pull this off. I'm just going to hold this for a second to see what's going on down here. So what we're going to do instead of the science episode, the space episode, I love the space episodes personally. They are some of my favorites. Of course, every one of them is my favorite. You know that. Everybody knows that. But the science episodes are among my favorite because I like the space stuff. I enjoy talking about space stuff. We can talk about my space whiskey because I don't have any adults here to tell me that I can't do it. So let's talk about the space whiskey that we're going to be doing. I have a 3-part program, Gemini, Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. A 3-part program to launch a barrel into space, recover it. I'm sorry, fill a barrel with whiskey, launch it into space, recover that barrel, bottle that whiskey, bourbon, bottle that bourbon, and have it available at the distillery for sale. So what is this 3-part plan? Well, that is a great question, Diane. I would love to answer it. The Mercury program is testing the initial equipment. So I've got to confirm that the barrel will survive in low atmospheric conditions. It's a wooden barrel. I need to make sure the weight's not too heavy, the internal weight is not too great, that if I put it in a vacuum, it won't explode. That is the first. I have to test the capsule and the recovery mechanism for the capsule. So there's that. Do I have diagrams for the recovery mechanism? No, I don't. Oh, but I do have this. Check this out. I have that. See that? That is a diagram that not particle physics, that engineering students, I think, chemistry students, they know that diagram, the different phases of liquid, pressure and temperature diagram for liquids, between ice, liquid, solid, and gas. According to my calculations, the whiskey will not freeze. The water may freeze, but the whiskey won't freeze. Tuna is in the house. What up, my man? The water may freeze, but the whiskey won't freeze. It might vaporize, creating a tremendous amount of pressure on the inside of the barrel. I'm curious to see whether or not the barrel will explode, which is what the Mercury mission is all about. Old Humble's Mercury mission is all about determining whether or not the barrel will actually survive low atmospheric pressure conditions. And then once we have determined that, we go from the Mercury mission to the Gemini mission. The Gemini mission is actually testing the vehicles. So I'm going to have I guess a 2-stage. I'm going to have the actual ascent vehicle, the descent module, and then the recovery module. So I've got 3 parts to this particular project that we will be testing in the Gemini phase. It is a large weather balloon with a basket, basically, that will hold the instrumentation, our camera, our altimeter, and our accelerometer, as well as the barrel itself. So that'll all be on that little carriage. That'll, of course, be attached to the balloon, which is the ascent module. And then the descent module will be a couple of large parachutes to slow this thing down before it hits the ground. I need to have a banner across the bottom letting people know that we are doing a full-on AMA episode. Ask me anything. There we go. Save. Show. There we go. Ask me anything. Go ahead. Pop it into chat. I'll answer your whatever dumb question. So the descent module will be a couple of parachutes to slow the thing down before it hits the ground. And ideally, it'll slow it down enough so that when it actually hits the ground, it won't shatter into a million pieces. I may have to have some reinforcements on the barrel to prevent it from shattering, obviously, because it won't do me any good if the thing lands on the ground and bursts into a trillion pieces. That's how you don't recover whiskey. And the whole point of this is to send a bourbon to space and return it to Earth safely. Launch a man on a mission to space and return him to Earth safely. That was the whole mission for Kennedy. My mission is similar. And then finally, the Apollo mission, which is the mission to actually send, putting all the pieces together and actually sending it to space. That's going to be the most exciting part. Because it'll be, and all this is going to be recorded, obviously, and put onto the YouTubes. Send a man into space. No, to the moon is what he said. To the moon. Land a man safely on the moon and return him to Earth. Land a man by the end of this decade. But see, it wasn't just landing a man on the moon. Let's listen to the man's.
Should have made clear to us all, as did the Sputnik in 1957.
This is a 2-minute video.
The impact of this adventure on the minds of men everywhere.
Yeah.
Are attempting to make a determination of which road they should take.
And that's exactly why we want to send whiskey into space. It's the imagination of the whole thing.
In space have been under review.
Big plans.
With the advice of the Vice President, who is chairman of the National Space Council, we have examined where we are strong and where we are not.
The moon landing was not fake. Stop it.
Where we may not. Now it is time to take longer strides.
Take longer strides. That's right.
New American enterprise.
Big new enterprise.
Time for this nation to take a clearly leading role.
A clearly leading role.
Which in many ways,
cosmic whiskey.
The key to our future
space whiskey. Applause. They're proud of the idea of space whiskey too.
All the resources and talents necessary.
Yes, we do. We've said all the resources and talents necessary.
The national decisions or marshal the national resources required.
And that's true. We've never made those decisions to marshal the resources to send whiskey to space. Right.
Or managed our resources and our time so as to ensure their fulfillment.
Yeah, but we're going to get this done.
I therefore ask the Congress, above and beyond the increases I have earlier requested,
and this is the key,
activities, to provide the funds which are needed to meet the following national goals.
The national goal.
I believe that this nation should commit itself.
Commit itself. My company commit itself before this decade is out. Of sending whiskey into space and returning it safely to Earth. That's the key. That's the key to the mission. He wanted to land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. I just want to send whiskey to space and return it safely to Earth. I mean, it won't do any damn good to have it come back, crash into the ground, and explode. We need this mission to succeed for the history of this country, for the imagination of these children as they watch on and see not what has been done, but what can be done as they look to the future, as they look to the sky, as they look to their dreams, and they say, I can do something that nobody has ever done before. I shall inspire the next generation of children to do dumb things in the name of YouTube fame. It'll be exciting. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting and fun. We cannot send Lisa into space, although she's not here. So we need to take a poll and find out why she's in jail. I was going to have a guest tonight who is my science advisor and is leading, helping to guide me along the technical route of sending whiskey into space. But she is ill tonight, so she is not with us. She is no longer, well, she's with us. She's ill. I can't say she's no longer with us because she's still with us. She's just not with us tonight. I can't say she's no longer with us because she wasn't with us before. And that'd be like, she was with us, but she's not anymore. But she's like not with us right now. She's just sick. She'll be back next. We're going to do the space episode next week. But it doesn't matter because nobody reads the descriptions anyway. So tonight is simply the first ever Ask Me Anything show. Sure. Ask me anything. Sure. So, hey, y'all got questions? Y'all want to know anything about the distilling process? Anything about anything? You know, submarines, airplanes, spaceships. What I don't know, whatever. What goes in a rye whiskey? I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. It's rye, wheat, duh. But let's do a little bit of housekeeping. while we're here. Lisa will be here in a little while, allegedly. Once we spring her from jail, she'll be here. So a little bit of housekeeping. March 5th, we will be live streaming our mini music festival. The mini music festival, the Old Humble Mini Music Festival. We will be live streaming 7 hours of Old Humble Mini Music. There it is. Old Humble Mini Music Fest. I will share this screen for people in the back so you can see what we're looking at here. Dupe, come on. Dupe, come on. It will feature over 15 acts. I talked to the promoter today. I swapped a couple of messages with the promoter today. We have confirmed. Let's see if I can make the screen bigger. Boop. Come on. All right. No, that's editing my name. I don't want to edit the name. There we go. That. Boom. Come on. Over here. Boof. Make it bigger. There we go. We will have confirmed Nate God, Vision, Sheila Ann. He sent me a message today with another couple of folks that he had confirmed, and he's waiting on some yeses or nos from where is he? Cody Blake, Nate God, the Kimbros, Sheila Ann, Rhea Grace. I'm sorry, we're waiting on Rita Grace to confirm or not confirm. Confirm or reject the invitation, I suppose. And then there's a few others that are on the list because it says right here 15, at least 15 musical acts joining us, over 20 vendors, whiskey, games, music, vendors, 12 o'clock to 9 p.m. He's changed the time. It was going to be 3 to 10. That's fine. I can change the time to 12 to 9. That'd be great. But yeah, this is going to be live streamed on our channel. If you want to come to the show live, it's $15 to get in, and that gets you a free drink. It's going to be, as the kids say, lit. She's going to make it awesome. Let's see here. What else? Yeah, Lisa's going to be here in a bit. Chill out, Tuna. She'll be here. She'll be here. Relax. Let's see here. We have... Okay, so that's the big event coming up. We're open every Saturday from here till for the foreseeable future. I will be live streaming from the distillery tomorrow, and we will be building a table and making some rice whiskey. What else is going to be going on? Saturday, our Old Humble Roadshow will be returning, where I will be actually going out and doing tastings to 4 different stores in 3 different markets. It's going to be I guess I could probably get that off the screen. Boop. Bye-bye. And then what else is there? Oh, yeah, you can find this event through Eventbrite or Facebook. If you want to come live, this is where you can find it. Eventbrite or Facebook. Just look up Old Humble Mini Music Fest. And you'll be able to find the show. Then we've got that'll be live streamed on the YouTubes. And then we will have, we're going to return to live music on our Saturdays, coming up probably in February. And speaking of February, my 12 days, or my Christmas Vlogmas series was rather fun to do, surprisingly fun for me to do, and seemed to be fairly well received. So we're going to do a 14 days of Valentine's 2022, where we discuss love and other delights. Let's turn off that and that, where we discuss love and other delights. We'll be talking about relationships and what makes, just relationships in general. What makes good relationships happen? And it's not going to be like 30-minute shows. I'm going to stick with the 6-minute format the best I can. 14 episodes are planned, one February 1st through 14th, a daily post, 6 to 10-minute episodes. And like I said, we're going to talk about love and other delights. And we're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to do my best to to play it straight, there's a post on our community tab. If you want any specific questions addressed, feel free to post a question in the comments of that post, and I'll address that question at some point during the run of Vlogentines 2022. Matty J's in the house. Cheers, my man. And cheers to everybody else in chat. I don't know what this thing is. My cough came on last night. And I was hacking. I was hacking up a damn lung. It was after the live stream last night wrapped up. I was sitting right over there in my chair, and then all of a sudden, just hadn't stopped. Not at all since about 4 a.m. But I expect it'll go away. I think it's just dust in the air, and we're doing a little flooring work since we had a flood here in the house. All right, so Ask Me Anything is the topic du jour today. Feel free, any question you may have. What size shoe do you wear? How do planes work? Is the moon painted on the dome of the sky? No, it's not. Planes work on magic. 10.5. I think planes work on magic. I don't know. I've never actually. Well, I mean, planes work with forward thrust. Forward thrust that generates lift using the wings. The shape of the wings generate lift. The forward thrust pushes it forward, and as a lift. Forward thrust is greater than drag, and lift is greater than gravity, and that's how planes work. Best I know. That's the best way I know how to explain it. Did humans really? Yes, humans really landed on the moon. And here's how we know the humans really landed on the moon. They spent as much money as it would have cost to send somebody to the moon. That's like the best evidence. I mean, other than the fact that, there's like a whole industry built around sending people to the moon at this point. But the amount of money that they spent was enough money to build a space program to send people to the moon. I mean, if they were just recording it in some video studio, film studio, some backlot somewhere, they would have been able to do it for much cheaper than what they did it for. And in fact, fun fact, the movie Gravity cost more than the Indian effort to send a probe to the moon. Like, they sent something to the moon for like 150 million, and Gravity cost like 185 million or something like that. Maybe have those numbers grossly overstated. Maybe Gravity was 150 million, and the Indian probe was Indian moon mission cost. I think Indian moon mission cost was $91.2 million. It's 6.1 billion rupees in Indian money, but $91.2 million. And the movie Gravity movie budget was, I want to say 100 million. So there you go. It cost more to make the space movie Gravity than it did to make to actually send a thing to the moon. But back in 1965 dollars, making a movie would have cost like $25,000 or something like that, and actually sending something to the moon cost, I don't know how much they spent, something like 100 million. I don't know how much they spent. Let's see here. Looking at the chat, the amount of squid booty. Yes, the amount of squid booty. We all like squid booty. Does Houston have a problem? Houston has several problems. That is, by the way, the most annoying movie line in the history of movie lines. And every dim-witted, lame writer for every dim-witted news program, anytime there's anything that happens in Houston, if the Astros go on a 3-game losing streak, or if the Texans shit the bed for a season, or if the Rockets go on a modest losing streak, or if a teacher gets fired at University of Houston, oh, Houston, we have a problem. Like, shut up. Jesus, get some fucking imagination, people. God. Worst movie line ever. Absolute worst movie line ever, because every dim-witted, dumbass writer just copies it and they think they're clever. And they're not clever. None of them are clever. They're the worst human beings. Barkeep, hit me, baby, one more time. Anyway, Houston has several problems, not the least of which we're situated in a state that's ass backwards. But despite that, we're a city that is maybe 15 feet above sea level, 90 miles inland, and prone to hurricanes. So we flood a lot. We were a city that grew faster than the capacity to actually manage that growth. So we have a whole lot of neighborhoods inside of the city of Houston that still to this day don't have curbs, decent rainwater drainage, proper sewage. There are entire neighborhoods in the city of Houston, inside the city of Houston proper, that still work off well water and septic, which is insane in the 4th largest city in the country, that they don't have municipal water and city wastewater containment. Absolutely insane. We are on a huge ship channel, one of the largest ports in the country. I think it's the third largest port in the country. The largest port on the South Coast. And we don't have good storm surge protection, because it's not that we don't have the resources for good storm surge protection. We just haven't done it. Whatever. We just haven't done it. It's called the Ike Dike. There's plans for it. It's drawn out. We have, yeah, that's nice. We have the knowledge, we have the capacity, we have the funds. There's just nobody wants to do it. And one of the reasons why nobody wants to do it is because the people who will be most impacted by storm surges, the refineries and port facilities along the ship channel, have made the calculation that the cost to build the Ike Dike is greater than the cost for them to repair their facilities. Meanwhile, there's 3 million people on the coast around the ship channel who their property damage would be catastrophic for each individual one of them. Their property damage would be catastrophic, but it doesn't cost them anything to repair. It doesn't cost the state or the refineries or anybody else anything to repair those people's houses, because those people, they just have to repair their own house. And what ends up happening is they repair the house, they sell the house, and some other sucker buys that house, and they have to do the same thing 5 years later when the next storm comes and wipes them out. So it's the calculus there is that the overall damage and overall cost to repair that damage would be huge, billions of dollars in repairs. But no one person has to pay those billions of dollars. Those billions of dollars would be spread around millions of people, and the cost of like good governance, the cost of good governance would be several $billion over the course of 10 years to install this storm surge protection. And the state of Texas is like, nah, we don't do good governance. Screw that. It's the same reason why we lost electricity last year, because the cost of good governance was greater than the cost of other people cleaning up the mess. And that's one of the problems that Houston has. We're stuck in a back-assward state. No. That is, well, it depends. It depends on where you're at. Some land wells are cleaner than city water. Some city water is atrociously disgusting. The city water up here is impeccably clean compared to the land well water. But the greater problem is when you're 15 feet above sea level and you have 6 million people pulling water out of the ground, you have subsidence and you very quickly cease to be 15 feet above sea level, which is an even greater problem than the quality of the well water. The, the well water could be pristine, but it doesn't do any good if you're 10 feet below sea level and literally living in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. So there is that. That is a problem. That would be a problem. And the goal was to get almost everybody in the city. There's maybe several hundred thousand, less than 10% of the population in the metro area. The newer developments, we're all on municipal water, and most of the municipal water comes from Lake Houston and Lake Conroe and Lake Livingston, which are 3 very large lakes dotted around the outskirts of the city. Most of the city doesn't use well water anymore, but that's a whole nother thing. Brian Maxwell's in the house. Cheers, my man. Sheila Jackson Lee is not somebody that we can count on to fix anything. She is a media whore of the worst kind. Not unlike Dan Crenshaw, who is like legitimately a bad person. Like in his soul, he's a bad person. Like his heart is a black like knob, and it's just he's one of the worst people. It's really nice that he and Pete, what's his face, all buried the hatchet and stuff. But he still wants to take away your health care. So screw that guy. Fuck him. Let's see here. What other chat do we have? That's 12 tunas for the budget. What's that mean? Scroll down. Cheers, Brian Maxwell, for joining the chat. Cheers, my man. You will see your table saw tomorrow on our live stream if you tune in. But you're going to be, I don't think you're going to have access to YouTube during the day. You should be working like normal grown-ups. But I'll be building, if it's not tomorrow, it'll be Saturday. We're going to be open from 1 to 4 Saturday. So if I don't get to it tomorrow, I'll get to it Saturday. But I've got a lot of work to get done tomorrow. I may not get to it, but we'll see. We shall see. Beers, kites, and bourbons on the rooftop. They do indeed rock. One of the best places to fly a kite is up on a roof because you have unencumbered, non-turbulent wind. You're actually on rooftops. You have non-turbulent wind. That's why it's better to have home windmills up 20 feet above your roof line rather than 20 feet above the ground, because you have turbulent wind on the ground. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do more. We're going to straight up ask me anything. Straight up, ask me anything. But I'm also going to. Oh, yeah. Land wells. See, that's one of the reasons why the well water up here in Humble is terrible, because back in the mid 1800s, late 1800s and early 1900s, when Humble was an oil boomtown, they stored oil in open pits. Humble oil open storage pits. See if I can get a picture of these guys. Show me some images. What they would do is literally dig a several football field sized trench or hole in the ground. I can't find a picture of them. Just a big giant open pit is what it was. Yeah, it kind of looked like this. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. We'll share that image. And they would just dump the oil in those big pits, which was bad for obvious reasons. See, here's the picture right here. Big, oops. Big fat pit of oil. What's this? Yeah. Now, what happened on a couple of occasions, a lightning strike would hit the ground, and these pits would light on fire. Whoosh. Then you have a big open flaming pit of oil, which, of course, that is not good for profits. When you have a big open flaming pit, it's bad for profits because all of your oil burns because oil is very flammable. It was also a great way for them to dispose of bodies, by the way. I mean, I don't make the rules. I just report the news. I don't even report the news. But after a couple of lightning strikes, they took all those open oil pits and made them into wooden tanks. But there was enough open oil pits and enough oil stored that way for a long enough period of time that our well water isn't undrinkable, but it smells kind of like sulfur. So we don't drink well water. We drink municipal water, and for good reason. It's the well water is full of heavy material, heavy minerals, heavy metals, heavy materials, and it tastes terrible. Oh yeah, that. So Brian is alluding to the crazy Terra person, the terrorist. Huh? See what I just did there? So I got rear-ended yesterday, and not in a good way. I got rear-ended by a car. Hit my bumper going through a stoplight. The light was green. We rolled forward. The traffic slowed down. She didn't. Hits me in the back of the car. She tries to leave the scene, but hero cop here. I chase her ass down. Left-hand lane, right-hand lane. We're here in the left-hand lane. I move over to the right-hand lane. Instead of following me, she goes this way. So now I'm over here. She's over here, and I try to cut her off. She goes around me, and then I get back around her and try to cut her off again. She pulls out and goes down the road. When she pulls out, I chase her down. I get a picture of her license plate, track her down, find out who she is, where she lives, all the information about her. Long story short, she's going to do the right thing and pay for the repairs. But I have like all of my ducks in a row in case that falls through. So, I will be giving regular updates on the rear ending, and hopefully everything will be fine. But yeah, the stuff in the back of the car was not damaged, so that's good. That's good. That's very, very good. And to see, the weird thing is, she's not a private person. Like she doesn't try to hide any of her information. So it was really easy to find like everything I needed to know about how to track this person down. It was very easy to find her. I mean, if you're that public of an individual, you shouldn't. Well, one, you shouldn't hit and run. That's bad. But it's like she was not trying to hide her. She wasn't doing a very good job of keeping her trail hidden. You know what I mean? It was real easy to track down the information. And like the thing that got me concerned last night was that she was just acting so weird. She was acting so weird after the wreck. She was acting so weird returning back to our car. She was acting so weird for the rest of the evening. She was acting so weird today. It was a whole bizarro type of situation. And I'm hoping for the best. I'm preparing for the worst, but I'm hoping for the best. And I've talked to her a couple of times today. So that saga hopefully will be put to rest in the next several days. So there you go. Tequila and vodka too. Yeah, on tequila and vodka on the rooftops. They're fine. Let's see here. Squid ink at piercings. Scrolling through your old double whiskey. Oh yeah, Tuna wants to know, Matt, what your favorite whiskey is. Not vodka. Nobody cares about vodka. Shut up. Show do. Keep looking, scrolling through. Y'all are just having. You don't want her in NASCAR. She was very easy to catch up to. She was the opposite of a good NASCAR driver. Now, good NASCAR drivers are hard to catch up to. She was easy to catch up to. Would you find her info with her? No, she doesn't have a land phone number. At least nothing that I can find. Her business number and her personal number are the same numbers. I do not advocate physical harm to human beings or most animals. I like hunting though. If you know anybody who wants to go hunting, let's do that. Jack Daniels. Ugh, fine, whatever. It's good. It's fine. Whatever. People drink all kinds of stuff. All right. That's that. We're good. So the saga of the rear ending. That's good whiskey. Keeps my throat nice and happy feeling too. One of the things that I was thinking about the other day when I was driving around Houston, and I was going through some of these neighborhoods that were like neighborhoods that time forgot. Like when Houston expanded faster than its ability to actually build well-developed homes and stuff, there were people moving to Houston by the thousands and thousands of people every single day. There was this huge demand for housing in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. We put in something like 100,000 people a month, between 10,000 and 100,000 people a month into the city back in the 70s and 80s. And I mean, literally, developers were coming up to people and saying, there was a lot of farmland around the outskirts of Houston and not a lot of housing. And there were developers coming up and saying, we'll buy your 40 acres. And they turned their 40 acres or 100 acres, whatever. An acre, 40,000 square feet. Take a fifth of an acre and put a house on it. And that's basically what they would do. They'd break their 100 acres into 500 homes. About 500 homes. Let's call it 450 because you got to put in roads too. But they would literally just plow down a road and just put up a bunch of houses faster than the regulators could manage the building codes, faster than the city planners could annex the properties, faster, just faster than any decent builders could come in. I mean, these were like fly-by-night builders who would just come in and just put up a dozen houses a day, just like throwing stuff up as fast as they could to get these people, to get the houses built and sold and people moved into them. But from buying the land to building the houses to selling the houses was a process of maybe 60 days. I mean, this was a crazy boomtown era for the city of Houston. But it sheds a lot of light on this whole supply and demand thing that we have going on right now, where you've got houses that were going up and houses that were going up cheap. There's a good reason why a lot of the houses in Houston were just thrown up and they kind of became slums. But the demand for the houses outstripped the demand or the supply of the builders who were able to build reputable housing. So there were a lot of developers that were really just guys and a crew of Mexicans who would throw these houses up, and these people were coming in to work at the refineries and to work in the oil fields and to work along the ship channel and the suppliers to all those businesses. So they were putting 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people in houses every month, and it was just an insane boom time for the city of Houston, growing so quickly. And then they'd build out this area, and then the city would annex it, and then the school district would have to figure out how to educate the kids, and they were so rapidly trying to build the infrastructure to house all these people. And then when the people came in, they'd live in that house for a couple of years, and then they'd get out of that house, they'd sell it, because they're coming down and they're getting they're getting really good jobs at the refineries and the offices, the support services, everybody related to the oil field industry that grew the city of Houston over the course of 20, 30 years. They get out of those starter homes, the cheap starter homes, literally knockdown homes. And then they'd go, and when the builders could catch up to it, they'd go into proper, Clayton Homes and Royce Builders, and all the KB Home, all the real builder names. So they'd move out of their original homes and into the new homes, and then the people that moved into the new home or the old homes were the people moving from the inner city out to the initial band of homes just on the outskirts of the city. So they had this, and people who could afford the cheap homes were poor people, mostly minorities, and it created these little zones of just underdeveloped housing that just was thrown up in the 60s, mid 70s, cheap, thrown up homes that aluminum wiring and just the cheapest construction you could possibly get. And that was one of the ways that Houston grew. And way back when, I think it was one of my Vlogmas episodes when I talked about how how we got to where we are is basically looking at where we came from. And those neighborhoods are the way they are because of the way Houston grew in the 60s and 70s. And in order to change what they are and the quality of housing in those areas, you're basically going to have to tear those houses down. They're going to have to get razed down to the ground and rebuilt, because you can't turn those houses and that housing into modern housing. It was, in a lot of cases, it was pre-manufactured homes that were converted to foundation homes, and they're just cheap. But it speaks to, in light of the whole supply and demand issue that we have currently, when the supply side of the equation gets interrupted, you have a lot of supply. It keeps things real cheap. But when the supply gets interrupted, you end up with some weird things that happen in the market. And that's what Houston had for about 30 years. When the builders finally caught up, made a whole bunch different. Oh, we have a birthday? Wait, what? Mr. Fulton has a birthday. Who's Mr. Fulton Miraz? Who's that? Do we have a Miraz in the house? Am I missing something? There he is. It's his birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Fulton Miraz, 23 years old. Cheers to you. I don't have the birthday song on my computer. Sorry. You're just going to have to hum it to yourself. Or maybe everybody in chat can hum it for you. I'll give him a second. Imagine in your head, everyone in chat is humming happy birthday to you. Okay, we done? We good? Okay, move forward. Which of his three? Now, fun fact. You mentioned my bourbon. I don't have, y'all have never had my bourbon. Very likely. My Boomtown bourbon. Ta-da! This is my classic label Boomtown bourbon. There will be probably one more batch of our classic Boomtown bourbon, classic label Boomtown bourbon produced, and then we will have the new label Boomtown bourbon, which is probably going to look very much like this. Coming to store shelves next year, the new look Boomtown bourbon. But that is a traditional tri-grain bourbon, and it is very limited in production and batches. I am waiting right now to have a couple of pieces of equipment finally installed and turned on so that I can make my next batch. It was supposed to be a couple of months ago, but we ran into some headwinds with our distributor. Headwinds which I believe have now been fixed, and we will begin that production once again. And that's true, Matt. I don't drink anymore either. Cheers. I just don't drink any less. Thank you. JVH is in the house. JV, cheers to you, my man. That didn't stay up very long. Good evening to you as well. We are doing the Ask Me Anything episode. We had the space program with our science advisor, Tanya, that had to be canceled because she was feeling under the weather. Ask Me Anything, the 18th episode. We will have our space episode next week. We'll be talking about the James Webb Telescope. We'll be talking about the vastness of space. We'll be talking about cosmic scales and how mind-numbingly absurd it is. We'll be talking about the space mission to shoot a bullet into a comet. Take that, comets. Oh man, SpaceX, Blue Origins, so many cool things to talk about with. I mean, I'm super excited about talking to Tanya specifically about the James Webb Telescope. It is such first, it's an engineering marvel, but the actual science content that we're supposed to be able to get from this thing is just going to be off the charts. I cannot wait. And she is like, her brain, the way her brain works on science stuff, it's just going to be so much fun to listen to what she has to say about that. And here's a fun, like, something I was thinking about the other day when I watched Don't Look Up. And also, by the way, new series that we started posting, Old Humble Reviews. Our first review was Don't Look Up. It's there. We posted it up yesterday. We're going to be doing a series of reviews. They're not always going to be movies. My next review will probably be local coffees, sandwich shops. We can review anything. Probably not whiskeys, because you can't trust me to review whiskeys, honestly. I mean, for real. I could drink 6 whiskeys and I'll be able to pick mine out of the lineup and tell you which one I like best. So the only way I could honestly review whiskeys is if I compare whiskeys that aren't mine. But even then, I mean, come on. At the end of the day, I'm going to be all like, all these whiskeys are really good, but they're second place to mine. Because I'm biased. I'm ridiculously biased. But I can drink whiskeys and say that they're good or they're not good, or like, this is what I shoot for. This is the direction that I want to go with my whiskey versus that direction. I don't want to do this. I do want to do that. I can talk about that. Maybe we'll review whiskeys in the future. I don't know. I'm not going to promise that. But we can do sandwiches, review burritos, review meatball subs. I've got 3 different sandwich shops around my house that make meatball subs. There's a Subway. There's Jersey Mike's. There's Lenny's sub shop. I got 4 different sub shops, and then there's a local mom and pop that makes actually their meatball subs are fucking divine. They're good. They're really good. But it's not going to do y'all any good because y'all can't go to Steve's Diner and get you can't go to my local diner and get their meatball sub, but I can use that as a benchmark sub and see which one of the chain guys can do it. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's exactly what I'll do. Anyway, fast food burgers. Compare the Whataburger versus the In-N-Out versus the Baconator versus the Burger King bacon. What the hell is that called? The Big Tex Bacon Burger, whatever that is. Anyway, so the Old Humble Review Show is a thing now. That's a thing. It's live. It's a real thing. This first one was me and Lisa doing the review of Don't Look Up. And in fact, I should do a follow-up show because I listened to a director's commentary of the movie. And here's a fun fact. They wrote Don't Look Up in 2018 and 2019. They started recording footage. They started filming in late 2019, early 2020, when all the COVID shit blew up. So they wrote this movie. That literally, it's an allegory for climate change, but it could be an allegory for anything, any catastrophic thing facing the country or the world. They wrote this movie and included an entire cohort of people who denied the existence of a Earth earth-shattering, cataclysmic event before the reality of they wrote a movie with a whole cohort of people who denied the existence of a population-changing, earth-shattering, cataclysmic event, and a political party that adopted that same philosophy of just ignore it. Don't look up. That's the whole point of the movie, right? They wrote this movie with all that, and then I'll be damned if not 9 months after they start recording it and recording the footage, all that shit comes true. like he said in his commentary, they had to rewrite some things that were just a little bit too on the nose and take out some stuff and then put in some stuff that was a little bit either more absurd or less absurd, kind of veer off the reality of what was going on. So there you go. It's a great movie. It really is a great movie. It was fun to review it. It was fun to watch it a couple of times and review it and do the stuff. So that's a thing. We're going to do periodic episodes of that. I'm going to do periodic reviews. This one was 30 minutes. I don't know if they're all going to be 30 minutes. Some of them will be longer, some will be shorter. Come February 1st, my Vlogentines 2020 series, a 14-part series, at least 14-part series, where we discuss love and other delights. I'm going to be talking about relationships and what makes relationships work, what makes relationships fall apart, what does it take. And I feel like I can speak from a position of relative expertise because I'm in the midst of a relationship that's kind of working. I love my lovely wife. She loves me most of the time when I'm not infuriating her. I wish I had a bell so I could ring it to see if she would come. Let's see if I can find a ringing bell sound on the. Oh, you know what I could do? I could check this out. Here's my lovely wife bought me an Alexa Echo for Christmas, and I've discovered that I can send. Look at that! I can send fart noises to the Alexa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send 3 farts in sequence and see how long it takes her to come in. Watch this. I'm going to hit the button now. Boop. See how long it takes her to come in here and yell at me. It's going to be funny. I hear it. I could hear it in the other room. All right. So let me turn on my stopwatch. Let's see how long it takes. All right. Stopwatch is on. Anyway, I feel like I could speak from a position of relative expertise about relationships and making relationships work because I love her, she loves me. We're making this thing work through a tremendous amount of effort on her part and a little bit of effort on my part. It's been 30 seconds. I'm going to try again. New announcement. Let's go. Fart, 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 fart. Send. All right. Let's do it again. See if we're now at almost 40 seconds. So either she's going to pop into chat and tell me to stop it, or she's going to actually come in here and yell at me. So that's going to be our Vlogentines 2022 series. She sent me a text that says stop it. There it is. She says stop it. It took a minute. I'm going to send 2 more. Fart, 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 fart. We're at minute 22. So yeah, that's going to be our Vlogentines special. 14 episodes. All about, 6 to 10 minutes of just discussing relationships and and finding love in all the wrong places. If there's questions you want answered or specifically asked or discussed, you can hit in the comments of the post announcing the show. Just drop your questions in there, and I will get to them as we can. She's not going to come and yell at me. She just sent a message and said, "Stop it." Now I'm sad. What? Alexa asked you to take your clothes off. That's not right. That's inappropriate. I'm gonna send her 3 more, but all these are on time delays. She's gonna come in and yell at me. She just yelled at me from the other room. Okay, that's the last one because I'm gonna get in trouble if I keep doing it.
You know, if
there
you want
she
something,
is.
You could actually text me and tell me what it is you want.
There she is. 2 minutes, 51 seconds. It was.
You're a jackass.
something like a dozen farts. She really does love me. She wouldn't put up with this shit if she didn't. Mojo's in the house. What's up, my man? Oh God, that was hilarious. Okay, that was my lovely wife, guys. She is a dream, for real. She is, and you know, she will likely not be featured in the Vlogentines series because I'll probably be recording it when she's off at work. But there's a chance that I'll get her in here on the weekends. But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. Pringles. Oh, you see, that's another thing that we can review. We do like Pringles and stuff. I'm done with the hot stuff. If Pocky comes out with another chip, I may consider it, but you know, their last chip was not as good as their first chip, so I'm not sure. I'm not, you know, I mean, their first chip was okay. It was hot. There was no joy in it, but it was hot. Their second chip tasted like I was eating needles. The 2021 chip, I guess it was. It tasted like I was eating needles. It was no joy. There was no joy, and there was a bit of pain, and I did not enjoy that at all. Yes, my wife does rock. She is a dream. I love her to death. But she's a good sport too. She puts up with my shit. If you want something, you can just text me. I didn't even want anything. I just was just trying to get on her nerves. That was the best thing. I was just trying to annoy her to the point where she came in to tell me to stop, and it worked. It took almost 3 minutes to do it, though. Oh God, I'm such a child. She gets me this cool, like we were literally living in the Jetsons right now. Like you can walk into your house and tell Rosie, turn on the music, set up. You can walk in the house and say, after work protocol. Alexa, activate after work protocol, and then she can turn on the lights, turn on the music, turn on the TV. If you have your like little fireplace app that you want to run, you turn on the fireplace app. Then you can walk into your kitchen, pour yourself a drink, pour yourself a snack, fix yourself a snack, whatever. Sit down and relax for 20 minutes while you're listening to easy listening music on the radio, the nice warm lights in the background, and then you can say, okay, Alexa, it's time for me to make dinner. Turn on, I don't know, The Office. And she'll turn on The Office, and you go in the kitchen, you start making dinner, and then you can tell Alexa, okay, turn off The Office, dinner time protocol. And then, you know, Alexa can turn it on to the movie of your choice tonight. You can say, Alexa, what's the best movie to pick tonight? And Alexa can pick it out. We are literally living in the fucking Jetsons. This is an amazing time to be. And God damn it. This is an amazing time to be alive. An absolutely amazing time to be alive. When I was a kid, we fantasized about this. We dreamed about having little robot attendants who would answer your beck and call and do your bidding. To be able to walk in your house. I mean, there's going to be a day when you can simply say, Alexa, bring out the trash, and Alexa will activate the automated garbage can, lift up and bring the garbage. In fact, there's going to be a day when we have our own little compactors and incinerators that turn our trash to dust, and we don't even have to use the garbage the way we use the garbage now. The sooner we get there, the better, as long as it's like a kind of a low emissions type of thing. Dehydrated trash. Compacted, dehydrated trash that did not take up space in the landfills. Like, sucks all the water out, all the liquid, compacts it down to its component dust, and then the volume of it would be so little that you just basically probably be toxic though. So probably, there's a balance. You could put it onto. I mean, space travel is going to be so cheap and easy at that point. You can just load all of an area's trash into a capsule and just launch it into the sun. Gone. Yeah, we got enough money for that. We can do that. Why not? Let's do it. Absolutely. Patent pending, patent pending, patent pending, patent pending, patent pending. My idea, you can't steal it. I'll sell it to you though, Elon, if you're watching. You're just down the street in Austin. You can, we can hook up. I can share some notes. Dude, what if I can get Elon Musk to carry my whiskey on one of his spaceships? You can launch my whiskey on an orbital mission around the Earth, land it back in the Gulf of Mexico, recover it off with one of his ships. Oh, man. I think I need to make a phone call to Elon Musk. He's a Texas boy now. Elon Musk, Old Double Whiskey, launching whiskey into actual space. Dude, that could be a whole fucking thing. Boom. I mean, I could do a GoFundMe. What's it cost? Like $200,000 to send a payload into space? Let's ask Google. Cost to launch a satellite on SpaceX rocket. Let's see what that says. Cost to launch a satellite. Oh. 74 million. Let's see here. Okay, let's look. Let's look at the Google search results for this. Yo, Bull Rush, what's up, my man? We are doing an Ask Me Anything episode. My science advisor was ill, could not make the show, and I am currently researching. The possibility of putting a capsule. Let's do this instead. Putting a capsule on a SpaceX module. How much does it cost to launch Starlink? So SpaceX is currently charging $499 for a Starlink kit that includes a terminal plus an extra $99 a month to access the service. Okay, that's not going to do it. I just want to be able to launch a box and recover it. How much does it cost to launch a satellite with Rocket Lab? $7.5 million. Okay. How much per pound? How much per pound to launch into space? $2,500 per pound. But you see, I'm not just going to be able to send 1 pound. I'm going to have to send all kinds of shit up there with it. How much does ride share to space cost? How's that? He launched that ride share, costs about $1 million. A 200 kilogram slot on the rocket for $1 million. Okay, so how many pounds is 200 kilograms? How many pounds is 200 kilograms? 200 kilograms is 440 pounds. Are you shitting me? Oh, wow. So for $1 million, I could do 440 pounds into space? Okay, so like a 5-gallon. All right, back to me. Come on, camera one. So no. I'm good on the power cord. I'm good on the power cord, Bull Rush. Thank you very much. Thank you. The monitor. I'm using the monitor right now. It's great. I appreciate it. I'm good on the power cord. I got the HDMI cable. I've got everything I need. We are golden, absolutely golden. So a 5-gallon whiskey barrel weighs about, I want to say about 50 pounds, 40 or 50 pounds for a 5-gallon whiskey barrel. If it costs $1 million to send 400 pounds to space, then what is that? 1/80th would be like $125,000. I could do a GoFundMe for $125,000 to launch a barrel of whiskey into space. The challenge, though, see, here's the challenge. This is always the challenge. If you go all the way into space, like all the way up there, like the 100 or 60, I think it's 60 kilometer space, like the actual accepted barrier of space when there's less above you than below you. The challenge is recovery, actually recovering it, because you've got to have heat shields and you've got to have a fairly sturdy capsule. I mean, you can't just launch it into space and it comes back like, you're going to New Zealand or something. You've got to have a fairly sturdy recovery device, because you're talking about heat and temperature and extreme pressures and stuff as it comes back down. And then you've got to slow the thing down before it hits the ground so that it doesn't create a crater. I mean, actually going all the way into space in a capsule on a rocket, rockets go really fast. It's not getting up there that's the hard part. It's the second half of the mission. I vow to send a man to the moon and return him to Earth safely. That's the second half. And return him to Earth. Land a man on the moon in this decade and return him to Earth. That's the challenge. That's the hard part. Return him to Earth. I could send something to space. That's technically not that hard to do. You put enough rocket fuel underneath something and light it, it goes all the way to as far as you want it to go. It's not that hard. I mean, there's like technical shit to work out. The hard part of this whole matrix is returning it to Earth safely and not leaving a crater in the ground. Because the whole point of my space whiskey is to actually sell the whiskey. See, that defeats the purpose as well. I don't need it to be in a pressurized capsule. I want it to actually go into space. I don't want it to be in a pressurized capsule in an astronaut's butt. I don't want it to be on the space station. And actually, alcohol is forbidden on the space station on account of it being explosive and flammable and all that stuff. That's what I learned from my NASA geeks that I've talked to about this plan. They all say it's impossible. You can't do it. The barrel will explode. But I say impossible is un-American, and we can do it if we put our minds to it and figure it out. The only thing that's impossible is the stuff that we haven't figured out how to do yet. There's a way to do it, and I'll figure it out. And as I was saying before, I've got my little notebook right here. This notebook in which I am tracking my Mercury program, Gemini program, and Apollo program. The Mercury program is going to be a program where we test the efficacy and where we test the stability of the barrel in zero low atmospheric conditions. Because the theory is, the hypothesis is, when you take away the atmospheric pressure from the outside of a wooden barrel, the liquid on the inside becomes volatile and will cause that barrel to explode. Maybe not on the long parts, but on the short parts, but the ends, like blows out the ends. That's the hypothesis. I don't doubt that that's true, but I want to test it. I want to actually take a barrel, put it in a zero a vacuum chamber, and suck all the air out and see if it explodes and how long it takes for it to explode. Because if it takes longer than a certain amount of time for it to explode, then maybe I can still do it. Because if it takes like 4 hours for it to explode, I mean, it'll only be up there for like 2 hours. That'll work. I can launch it up there. It'll only be up there for a couple hours. We can recover it and before it explodes. Because the way that this is going to work. Hey, Surfer, welcome to the party. Yeah, we say that the springs shifted, or the joints creaked. That was that's our excuse. Yes, we are Americans, not Americans. That's why they have problems in French, because they're French. They're not Frenchicans. They're French. See, and also the English. If the English were Englishicans, see, they'd still have the empire, but they're not. They're just English. That's also one of the challenges we have with dealing with Mexico, because they're Mexicans, not Mexicans. So you put up a wall. They're Mexicans. They're going to come around it. That's just who they are and how they work. I mean, see, here's the thing. When we record it, it's going to be like tension, just tension upon tension upon tension. You're going to be expecting this thing to explode as we suck the air out of the chamber. And it's going to be like you're going to be on the edge of your seat, just chewing your nail. It's going to be gripping, absolutely gripping. We'll probably do a time lapse as we watch it slowly fail. But anyway, that's basically the Mercury program. The Mercury program is testing the barrel. And if the wooden barrel doesn't work, then I'll use an aluminum barrel. I'd rather not use the aluminum barrel. But even with the aluminum barrel, when you have the zero pressure, we can take an aluminum barrel and put the wood staves in the barrel. And then as the pressure on the barrel, the outside pressure and the aluminum tries to expand, and the liquid on the inside becomes volatile and starts to expand and vaporize, the liquid will age into the wood stave that way. So it's going to be, it'll work either way. I'd rather do it with a wooden barrel. Because the wooden barrel also be much lighter than having to do the aluminum with the wood. Second stage of the program, the Gemini program. That's where we'll actually test the actual equipment. I'll get the balloon, the ascent vehicle, the balloon, the descent vehicles, which will be the parachutes, and then the recovery capsule, which will be the carriage that holds, you can't see my hands working down here, it'll be the carriage that actually holds the barrel, and the instrumentation, the camera, the altimeter, the accelerometer, the GPS beacon, so that we can find it. So the Gemini program will be basically testing on, and I'll probably send up a test balloon just to test the whole process. So there will be at least one live launch in the Gemini program. And then finally, we move on to the Apollo program, where we put it all together. We put the altimeter with the accelerometer, with the camera, with the carriage, with the barrel, with the descent module and the ascent modules, and we have everything assembled together, and we light that candle and launch it into space. And the idea, of course, is going to be the camera is going to overlook the barrel and the horizon. So it's going to, as it ascends up, we'll see the curvature of the earth, the blackness of the sky, the barrel below, the blue below the barrel, and then the balloon pops and everything goes down. And we watch the whole ascent and descent process. Well, it won't be live. We'll record it and then we'll post it up. It'll be exciting. Absolutely exciting. Well, see, that's the whole point. The whole point is to recover it. Send a barrel to space and recover it safely. Because if we can't recover it, then we can't sell it. I mean, we can't drink space whiskey if we don't have space whiskey. If it crashes into a field somewhere in Central Texas and all that delicious whiskey pours out into the sand, we don't get to sell the whiskey. But yeah, I don't want to send the finished product up. I want it to actually use the pressure and temperature differential to age the whiskey. And when you taste it, when you buy the little mini bottle and you taste it, you will be able to taste the difference and be able to tell people that you have a bottle of Old Humble space bourbon in your hand on your shelf. It will be a collector's item that I mean, there'll only be like, let's see, if we send up 5 gallons, that'll be 25, 35 full-size 750 bottles. Break those 750s into 50 milliliter bottles of that's 15 times 30. Where's my calculator at? 15 times 35 is 15 times 35. That'd be about 525 mini bottles of whiskey. And that's all that there will be in the history of the world. There will never be another. Or maybe I'll do it one more time. But that's only if I do 5 gallons. If the ascent vehicle can carry a 5-gallon barrel up, then it'll be 5 gallons. But if the ascent vehicle can't carry 5 gallons, it'll be much less. It'll be a 2-gallon barrel or a 1-gallon barrel. So we'll see. I don't know. That's what the entire Gemini program is going to be about, is confirming what payload I'll be able to carry up into space. I don't know. I don't know what payload I'll be able to carry up. Yeah, kind of. It's kind of an Instapot. What they have are vacuum chambers for epoxy pours, for setting epoxy and silicone molds and epoxy molds. That's what it is. A big giant, like 5-gallon, 7-gallon. It's a 7-gallon vacuum chamber, and that's what I'll be using to test the process. So we'll see. It's gonna be. I was hoping that this would be a project that we could do in 2022. It's probably going to be a project that we do in 2023. I've got more important things to do right now, such as our double oak rye, our straight whiskey, and special reserve, straight whiskey, and getting our Boomtown bourbon back into production. So that's the first 4 labels that we're going to have right this year. But I'm going to add a Ghost Town bourbon, which was our Boomtown bourbon that's only slightly aged, so it's still clear. Single malt whiskey, as yet unnamed. Our high rye bourbon, which will be the production variant of our 72-hour blackout special edition bourbon. 72-hour blackout bourbon will be a high rye bourbon made with the water from last year's 72-hour blackout here in the city of Houston. And then a limited run of our rice whiskey, but it'll only be at the distillery. The other ones will be actually in stores across the market. So we've got a bunch of stuff that we're working on this year. the single malt. Oh, I forgot the pecan oak. We're going to have our double oak, a variant of our double oak rye, where we age it with pecan wood. Oh, look, we got trolls. Yes, rice whiskey. Rice whiskey is traditionally the type of whiskey that they make in Japan. It is, of course, the rice grain, but they also use a koju fungus with a rice variant, a grain variant. The koju fungus helps to convert the starch in the rice to sugar in much the same way that beta amylase in our malted barley converts the starches in our corn to sugars for the yeast to consume. So this is the traditional type of whiskey made in Japan. You can find bottles of rice whiskey, traditional rice whiskey from Japan, but they're like $75, $80 a bottle. Once the Japanese manufacturers discovered single malt whiskeys, they bought a whole bunch of the single malt stocks, single malt stores from Scotland and brought a bunch of whiskey over. And that's one of the reasons why Beam and Suntory merged way back when, because they needed more supply. They needed more supply and more distribution, more access to the American market for their distribution. So that's why Suntory, who was traditionally a rice whiskey manufacturer, who became a single malt whiskey manufacturer, is now a bourbon manufacturer in the United States because they bought Jim Beam. And I think it was $9 billion was the acquisition price for Jim Beam back when they bought Beam. Big damn deal. But yes, rice whiskey is a traditional Japanese style whiskey. But one thing that a lot of people don't know, the rice industry on the southeast Texas and Louisiana. Southeast Texas is the second largest rice growing region in the United States, the largest rice growing region being Louisiana. And the Gulf Coast rice industry was basically founded by a Japanese family. I want to say their name was like Matsuka or something like that. Like I'm getting that wrong, but that's what my memory is telling me. One guy, Japanese family, founded basically the entire rice industry in Southeast Texas, because he brought over some strains and some styles from Japan, and they took to our soil fantastically. And that was the late 1800s, and then the southeast and Gulf Coast region of Texas became the second largest rice growing area in the entire country. And here in the city of Humble, in the region of Humble, just 30 minutes that way. I mean, I'm pointing east, by the way. 30 minutes east of here is Huffman, and then, 30 minutes east of me is Huffman. It's more like 20 minutes from Humble proper. Then on the other side of Huffman is Dayton, and then there's a Highway 69 that goes from Beaumont all the way up to like Lufkin. You can look up all these places on the map. That is rich rice country. And if you drive east on I-10 towards Louisiana, you're going to go across all kinds of rice silos and rice companies, and there is abundant rice in this area. I can, go up to just about any silo with a truck and get loaded up with a few hundred pounds of rice. So, long story short, too late, whiskey guy. We will be making rice whiskey using local ingredients. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. The Huffman High School, Hargrave High School over in Huffman, is literally built in rice paddies. So when it rains even a little bit, they flood. It is what it is. I just noticed how low my camera is. I need to have that up about 3 inches, I think, because it feels like, it's right on eye level, but it feels like it should be up this way. So I can problem to solve for another day. I was fully expecting Lisa to get in here before the end of the night, but she clearly couldn't spring herself from jail. So sucks to be her. Anyway, so yeah, those are basically the next three main labels: the Boomtown, the Pecan Oak, and the Single Malt, and then some secondary labels being the High Rye Bourbon, the Ghost Town Bourbon, and the Rice Bourbon. So 3 primary labels, 3 secondary labels. I hope to get all of that stuff in production by the end of this year. We've got a lot of work to do, and over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks to pull that off, we shall see. But even more important than that, even closer on the horizon than that, Mini Music Fest, our Old Humble Mini Music Fest, which is on March 5th, will be live streamed to our YouTube channel. And it will be amazing. Here's the Eventbrite page. Go to Eventbrite. In fact, I can plop the link in chat, can't I? I can do that. I have the power. To do that. This is the Eventbrite link for the Mini Music Festival from the Old Humble Distilling Company. If you are so inclined, if you want to come to this festival, it's $15 to come to the show. There's going to be over 15 live acts, including Nate God, Vision, Sheila Ann. We'll have food, games, $5 drinks all afternoon. And it's going to be fucking insane. Doors open at 12. Music runs till 9. We will be live streaming it on the YouTube channel. So if you can't make it live in person, you can at least watch the show. We'll be streaming it live here on our YouTube. Subscribe, notifications, all that fantastic stuff. Will there be midget tossing? I'm not going to rule it out. The challenge is finding a midget tossing company. There's not as many of those out there as you might think. Go figure. I figured there'd be scores of them, but there's only like three midget tossing companies out there that are reputable and legitimate companies. It's hard to find reputable ones, is what I'm saying. But we will have that live streamed on our YouTube channel. I don't want to get it set up as an event on YouTube yet, because I need to talk with the promoter and find out how we're going to rig it up. But we will have it live streamed out on our YouTube channel. So if you can't make it to the show, you can at least watch it. It'll be on all day long. I thoroughly encourage y'all to tune in, catch a show. There'll be hosts introducing the acts in between their actual stuff. It's the first time we're doing an event this big and live at the distillery, so I'm super duper excited about it. It's going to be a fun party. We're gonna have vendors, we're gonna have food, we're gonna have all kinds of stuff, and I'm going to be there selling whiskey, making cocktails, spreading joy, and other nonsense all across the world. So that's going to be March 5th. Mark your calendars. March 5th, Old Humble Mini Music Festival. It's called the Old Humble Food, Music, and Whiskey Festival. I guess it's still the Old Humble Mini Music Fest. Like the picture there has a different name. That's cool though. It's gonna be fun. See here, date and time, 3 to 10 p.m. Up here it says 12 to 9. He needs to figure his shit out. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. It really is going to be a good time. And I'm excited about this. This is one of the things that I've wanted to do at the distillery since we've had our facility. We haven't been set up to do it yet, but we're going to have our rye, we're going to have our straight whiskey, we're going to have our special reserve. We should have, fingers crossed, some of our Ghost Town bourbon available for this event. So yeah, we're going to have a little bit of everything. And you're not going to want to miss it. If you're local, you're going to want to be there live. If you're not local, you're at least going to want to see the music, tune in over the course of, pop in, catch some of Nate God, go off and pop back in, catch some of Sheila Ann, go off, come back in. I mean, there's going to be a flavor of music for everybody. If you like music, you're going to be able to see that. That's going to be cool. The Old Humble Road Show's kicking back in March. I'm going to have at least 4 or 5 appearances over the course of the month. And of course, our weekends are going to be open. And this is exciting. Stay tuned, not tonight, tomorrow or Saturday, depending on how much work I get done tomorrow. It may be Saturday during our open hours, Saturday from 1 to 4 o'clock. I will be live streaming from the distillery, A Day in the Life of a Distiller. That series seems to be kind of fun. Y'all, I don't know, y'all like watching me work. I don't understand that. I don't like watching me work, but y'all like watching me work. And then come February 1st, we're going to have our Valentine's or Vlogentine's event, where we discuss love and other delights. I was originally going to call it Love and Other Sins, but love isn't really a sin, by any. There's no religious doctrine that calls love a sin. It's quite the opposite. So we're going to be discussing love and other delights. And if you were here earlier, you got to see me annoy my lovely wife by sending farts to our Alexa. I love that thing. The ability to send a fart to my living room from anywhere in the country is, it's just a thing of joy. We're living in the 22nd century without question. I mean, they say it's the 21st century. We always look forward to the 21st century, but man, we are living in the absolute future right now. This is amazing to be living in the future where I can sit in a hotel room in Los Angeles, California, and I can pick up my phone and I can hit 5 buttons and make a machine in my living room in Houston fart at my family. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We can put men on the moon. We can send a satellite probe to literally touch the surface of the sun. We can put a satellite in an orbit far enough away from Earth that we can see the edge of the universe. And all of that capability and all of that advanced technology and all of that human innovation has created a machine that allows me to make fart noises from anywhere, make fart noises from anywhere on Earth in my living room. I mean, we are living in the future, people. I can get in a metal tube and fly around the world because the world is round. I can fly around the world in a metal tube. And while I'm in that metal tube, I can take my magic box here, push buttons, and make a little ball in my living room fart at my family. I mean, come on. Are you telling me we're not in heaven on earth? Man, that is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. That is something that George Jetson would look at and be all like, I cannot believe y'all, that is more advanced than my little hover cars. And it's a very real possibility that George Jetson lived in a house that was up in the clouds on that little pole all the way up in the clouds because the earth was so polluted they couldn't live on the earth anymore. That's entirely possible. In fact, I'm going to Google that. Why did George Jetson live in the sky? Why? I mean, maybe it was just, like a deluxe apartment in the sky. Moving on up. Why did George Jetson live in the clouds. Why did George Jetson live in clouds? Is there like, why do the Jetsons? Okay, this is let's answer this question. Here it is. Why do the Jetsons live in the air? Because of the Space Needle. Iwo Takamoto, a layout and design artist for the Jetsons, told the New York Times in 2005 that the Space Needle inspired the Skypad apartment buildings. Yeah, so there is no there's like no world building behind that. It's just a design thing. Did the Jetsons live? Come on, give me the thing. George works at Spacely Sprockets, both cylindrical buildings project into the sky like birdhouse. Yeah, there's no canon reason for it's just something cool to do. Okay, cool. I dig it. I'm down with that. That's good. I'm down with it. I'm totally down with that. I mean, it probably would have been unfathomable. When was the Jetsons made? When was the Jetsons made? When did the Jetsons? Was that the late 70s, early 80s? When did the Jetsons run? When were Jetsons on TV? Yeah, okay, so 1960s. Holy shit. 1962 to 1963. Wasn't revived until 85. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry. I took that off. Wow. 1962, 1963. Wasn't revived until 1985. Is this big enough for y'all to see? Let's make this bigger. There we go. Throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Wow. Well, there you go. Jetsons were 60s through the 80s. Yeah, I think the whole polluted Earth scenario in the 1960s is probably unfathomable. Hard to imagine. That's fair. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I wasn't alive in the 60s. I couldn't tell you. At least not that early in the 60s. Maybe in the late 60s, the whole polluted Earth might have been a thing. But anyway, speaking of polluted Earth, one of the things I was thinking of, Don't Look Up. We reviewed Don't Look Up. There's another show we're doing called Old Humble Reviews. We started with Don't Look Up, but Don't Look Up. Movies are not going to be the only thing we review. We'll be able to review all kinds of stuff. Food, drink, destinations, meals. One of our reviews is going to be the steaks at the men's club on Sage. Yeah, like a $15 steak buffet with a stage show. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who wouldn't want a $15 buffet? Steak buffet. That's some good shit, man. We will review that. Me and my buddy will go and review that for you so that you don't have to go to the men's club on Sage. We will fall on that grenade and tell you whether or not it's worth $15 to get a steak buffet with a stage show. And there's a poutine place. I think I'm calling that right. Poutine. Yeah, the Canadian food. We're going to go review that too. Is that true? The first episode was black and white. Is that true? No. Are you kidding me? Jetsons, black and white. Was the first episode? No way. Are you kidding me? The first, Brian, you are dropping some knowledge here, brother. Looky there. The Jetsons, it debuted its first program broadcast in color on ABC. Only a handful of ABC stations were capable of broadcasting in color in the 60s. Oh, wow. The Flintstones, while always produced in color, was broadcast in black and white for the first 2 seasons. So the Jetsons was broadcast in color but only a handful of stations were capable of broadcasting it in color. Huh. Interesting. Was there ever a black character in the Jetsons? How about that? Welcome to the early 60s. We've come a long way, baby. So there you go. Here's some black and white images from the Jetsons. But that's an interesting little historical factoid. It was always broadcast in color, but not all stations was able to broadcast it in color. So some people received it in black and white because the stations couldn't broadcast in color. And most of the people, I presume, wouldn't even know because they didn't have color TVs. So there you go. That's probably why they didn't bother broadcasting in color, because most of the people didn't have color TVs. That's pretty awesome. The first color cartoons on ABC. Yeah. You learn something new every day. That's fucking fascinating information. Yeah. I had no idea. Okay, so Don't Look Up. I was reviewing Don't Look Up. The end of the movie of Don't Look Up. Spoiler alert. Everybody piles onto a ship and escapes on an ark, right? So it occurs to me while I'm doing some work the other day, and I'm thinking about this for the review. Being colorblind sucks. I can imagine. It does. Instead of escaping a cataclysm on Earth by putting everybody in a ship and going to another star system, this is something I was going to talk to Tanya about. We'll talk about this more next week. You put everybody on a ship, you launch the ship, you escape Earth orbit, and you go into the direction of the next star that has the Earth-like planet. You drop your humanoids, your human beings, out of cryo sleep onto the planet, and they colonize the new planet and do all the new stuff. Here's the alternative. We Planet of the Apes it. What does that mean, old humble guy? Well, look, the guys who landed on Planet of the Apes, they were astronauts. They went into Earth orbit. They were in cryo sleep or whatever. They just ended up orbiting Earth for 5,000 years or something like that. And then when they landed back on Earth, the apes had become sentient, and the apes were all smart and stuff, and they were the lesser creatures, and the apes were the... What I'm saying is, if something hits the Earth and there's a cataclysmic destruction on Earth, rather than send a whole bunch of people on an ark to another star that's 100 lifetimes away from here, orbit Earth for 500 years or 1,000 years or 5,000 years until all the dust settles, literally and figuratively. Wake everybody up, deorbit, drop humanity back down on Earth. And instead of having to go find a whole nother planet and a whole nother star, you've got the cryosleep, assuming you have the cryosleep and you have the capability to maintain life support for 5,000 years that it would take you to go to a whole nother star. Just orbit Earth for 5,000 years. This whole concept of going and finding another star in the vastness of the universe, where that's literally expanding, so you may never actually reach the place that you're going to, because the actual fabric of space is expanding faster than you're able to travel. Just hang out here, orbit Earth for a few centuries and while you're sleeping, and then send whatever laser beams down to Earth to see that the air's clear. When you confirm that the air's clear and it's livable again, kick those people out of the damn shuttle and drop them down to Earth with their hairdressers and Monets and whatever else they got. Boom, there. I just solved your multi-planet problem. Civilization can survive. You don't have to go to a whole nother star system. You just have to hang out here till Earth becomes inhabitable again. Boom. I just solved your interstellar problem. You're welcome, everybody. You're very welcome. You send the ark to orbit Mars for a few years. It doesn't even have to go anywhere. It doesn't have to do anything. It just has to orbit. In fact, it doesn't even have to orbit Mars. You just send it about 1,000 miles west of Earth to orbit the sun. Just we're a little park right behind Earth. Like, there's Earth right up in front of us. We're just gonna draft along Earth. It's cool. Don't mind us. We're asleep anyway. We can't see anything. It's cool. So everything just And you chug along your, I guess it'd be here. Your, here's Earth. And you're just like this little spaceship behind Earth. It's this little thing. You just fly behind Earth. That's cool. And see, what's really cool is you're flying behind Earth, so you get all the like the radioactive shielding that Earth gives you from the sun, and boom, you're sleeping, you're chilling out in your little hidey hole, your little sleeping bags. I'm going to ask Tanya about this next week. She's a life support specialist, all about living in space on a spaceship. She's a life support specialist, so she'll be able to tell me if I'm full of shit. But I think I cracked the code. I think I'm right about this. I mean, what do we care if it's 25,000 years? We'll be asleep, right? And you close your eyes, the cryo sleep hits you, boom, you go to sleep. And in the morning when you wake up, boom, it's 25,000 years later. You don't even know. You have no idea that time passed. What are you going to do? Complain to the concierge because you didn't get turn down service on your cryo sleep bed? Come on. It'd be cool. It's fine. It is. It really is fine. Trust me, I've asked management and they said it's fine. So we're going to talk about that next week with Tanya because she's the smart nerd. She'll be able to tell us all about the cool stuff. I have not mentioned our 500th episode, our 500 subscriber episode. I am going to spend the night. I will have, I might will have done. I don't know the proper formulation of this sentence. Because in the past, I may have already spent the night at a haunted cemetery, which means in the future, I will post the footage that I may have already recorded. So I will post what I may have done already for our 500 subscriber challenge. What the hell am I talking about? I'm spending one night in a haunted cemetery. The historic Pipe Yard Cemetery, the historic haunted Pipe Yard Cemetery here in Humble, Texas. I said we get 500 subscribers. I spend the night in a haunted cemetery. I will record it. Any spirits and ghosts we find, I can. Spoiler alert: there was a spirit. There were no living ghosts. There's no such thing as ghosts, which is why I have no problem spending the night in a haunted cemetery. I don't believe in ghosts. So when we will do the show, I'll post it up. And if in the future we'll be like Michael Jackson. Yeah, exactly. Because Michael Jackson famously slept in a oxygen tent in order to maintain his youthfulness. He was actually surprisingly old when he died. How old was Michael Jackson when he died? How old was? Oh my God, dude. Oh no, put that back in there. I say, how old is Michael Jackson when he died? I type it in to the search box here. How old was when he died? First thing up, how old was Michael Jackson when he died? That doesn't mean that they're listening to us. He's 50 years old when he died. He was surprisingly old when he died. He was still young. 50 years old is young, but he was surprisingly old when he died. 50 years old is young, but I thought he was younger than that when he died. Anyway, but yeah, he famously slept in a oxygen tent to maintain his youthfulness. But he also took a lot of painkillers to maintain his youthfulness. And that killed him. So there you go. Anyway, the haunted cemetery. It is the historic Pipe Yard Cemetery. I will be posting up the footage from my night in the cemetery. And if I haven't done it yet, I will go live, possibly if I can figure out how to go live. Spoiler alert, I could not figure out how to go live from the cemetery. So we'll be posting up that footage when I'm done editing it. I have a lot of it, or I will have had a lot of it. Yeah, because I don't want to confirm that I've done it. because it might be illegal. Trespassing and stuff like that, spending the night in the cemetery, trespassing, things like that. Lisa would be flipping out right now, rolling her eyes. She'd be all like, whatever. But I'll be posting up. There's like 6 hours of footage. I got to trim it down to 30 minutes. So bear with me. I'll get the 500 subscriber special done. And then our 600 subscriber special, I've already planned that out. We're going to do a firework spectacular for the 600 subscriber special. I will launch 600 fireworks in honor of our 600 subscribers. I've got a line on the fireworks. I've got a supplier. I've got a location. I've got a thing. It's going to be dope as hell. And I may do that as a live stream when we get to like 595 or something subscribers. I may do that as a live stream so that when we hit 600, I can hit the button and light off the fireworks. That'd be cool. That'd be dope as hell. That'll be absolutely dope as hell. Anyway, so you know what? I'm going to call it. We're going to call it a night. It's been an hour and 55 minutes. I am at 10:55 for our 11 o'clock in time. It is time to wrap up the show. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Happy birthday to, let me scroll back up here. Happy birthday to Mr. Falk. Is that FAU? Where is he? Mr. Fulton. Mr. Fulton Mraz. Happy birthday to you. 23 years young. Go out and enjoy yourself. It's a Thursday night. Be safe. Use Uber. Drink responsibly. And get home okay. We want to see you for your 24th birthday as well. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Thank you, Brian, for loaning me your table saw. It will be featured on our next Day in the Life stream, which will either be tomorrow or Saturday, depending on how my schedule shapes up. Thanks to everybody who joined us: Maddie J, Mojo, Bull Rush, JVH, Tuna, and anybody that I'm leaving out. I apologize for leaving you out, but thank you for joining us. I do appreciate it. Surfer. Solitude Surfer, thank you as well. Thank you. I do. I really do appreciate the support. The live show that we do on the 5th of March is a taste of what I want to do on a weekly basis at the distillery, or at least a monthly basis. I want to be able to do shows like that. So I strongly encourage people to tune in for that, and to be able to see our live shows as we do them on site, and the live music and live show, the live entertainment that we have at the distillery. My goal isn't to be a YouTuber who has a distillery. It's to be a distillery that uses YouTube to entertain and to build a community, and have a place where you can go either virtually or in person to sit down, relax, be entertained, take a load off, and relax. And whether I could do it in person at the distillery, so that you can, pop in and relax at the distillery, or whether we can do it virtually with our happy hours on Thursday nights or our live shows on Saturday afternoons. Whichever way it needs to be done, that's what I endeavor to do. And ultimately, hopefully, sell a couple of bottles of whiskey along the way. The distillery is physical and virtual. It's a state of being, it's a state of mind, but it is also a physical place where you can come and visit us. And we would love to see your beautiful, gorgeous faces there. If you're ever in town in the city of Humble or near the city of Humble, pop in, say hi, have a drink. Enjoy the movie when we have our movie nights. Enjoy the music when we have our music nights. You won't be disappointed. And at the very, 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 very least, you'll get a good drink out of it. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, cheers to you. Be awesome to each other, and go spend the next 3 or 4 days and just do something fucking amazing. I implore you, be awesome to each other. Cheers and good night. We'll go with that. Good night.